Hello, Princess Casserole here, and I'm here with an educational video. I've kind of gotten away from those a little bit and wanted to get back into doing some more educational teaching videos where oftentimes I try to teach you guys something, but I often learn something from you guys as well. So I wanted to start off this video face to face because I wanted to get a couple things off before I start making it. This video has been requested, and I do not condone the buying or selling of ivory items. So that's what this video is going to be, is how to identify ivory versus bone versus celluloid and lucite, which can all be made to look a lot like ivory. It is illegal and the laws can vary state to state, so I'm not offering any legal or reselling advice here. Always check with your local laws. I know certain states are a little bit more restrictive than the federal laws, and in those cases that you do have to look at the federal law or the state laws in the state that you're in, and most likely the state that you're selling to. The other thing is some platforms do not allow you to sell ivory as well, even if it's legal in your state. So you do have to be aware of what you can and cannot sell, but what I want to do is try to help you know and identify the ivory items that you might find, how to identify them, and even some that I have a question on that I'm not 100% certain if it is ivory, bone, or some other material. So I will show you some of those as well, and some that I know for certain are one material or another. The thing that I think helps me a lot is just seeing a lot of examples. Once you see it over and over again, you will kind of get to be familiar with what it looks like, and there are other clues oftentimes in the jewelry that you have that could tell you if something is perhaps ivory or something else. Texas Scale Treasures did a really good video on her channel as well. But again, I just find it very helpful to see more and more examples. I think she might have like an identification video and one where she's talking to you about what to look for as well. So I think I would go and watch both of those videos if you need additional information after my video as well. Again, go look at a lot of different things, go look at them in person, and I think that will be the only real way to help you identify ivory versus bone and other items. Ivory can come from multiple different animals. I know a lot of the Alaskan Inuits or native populations, they can get their ivory from whale, I believe, whale bones, I think. And there's also woolly mammoth, and that's another place that you can get ivory from. You can get ivory from elephant tusks. There are some vegan options that you can get ivory from, but I don't think it's very widely available from what I've heard. It's some kind of shell. I don't have any examples of that, nor have I heard of that. And I think there's also some bird that ivory can come from as well. Most of the ivory that I've seen, I think, are either the woolly mammoth, elephant, or whale. So I will go through. I have a lot of these examples. A lot of them I inherited. Again, it is illegal oftentimes. I know people will say pre-ban, post-ban. I believe Etsy and eBay restrict you selling ivory items, period. regardless of its pre-ban or post-ban. And I believe that New York State, which is the state that I'm in, has more restrictive laws than the federal laws are. So personally, I am not going to buy it or sell it. What I have is what I have, and I will keep it. Personally, I am of the idea of same thing as vintage furs. They're here. They're precious. They were made from something precious, and I would like to preserve that and the item and the workmanship and all of that goes into them. So personally, that is why I keep these. I know some people are more of a fan of completely destroying them, but personally, I collect them. I have this collection. I don't resell them. I just keep them, and pretty much things that I've inherited over time. And also, the other thing I wanted to say, which that you have to be careful if you are buying jewelry jars, jewelry bags, lots of jewelry. You should know that it is possible for you to buy ivory or some kind of restricted material, and there are other restricted materials, for example, tortoiseshell. Things that are made out of real tortoiseshell are also illegal. And I don't know if there's a pre-ban, post-ban on there. I haven't done a lot of that research yet. If you guys want to, I will do a video on that as well. But there are other items that are illegal to buy and sell as well. That is restricted by the U.S. Wildlife, I believe. I was kind of surprised at the department that did the oversight of it. I think it's the wildlife DEC type department. I'll have to look that up. I will put a link to somewhere where you can read about the laws federally. Again, make sure to look at your state laws, where you're shipping to and from. I know there are ways to get around that. I personally would not do that. I'm always open and honest when I'm selling things. If I'm going to post something as ivory, I know it's ivory, I'm going to post it as ivory. But I am not a fan either of telling other resellers what to do. I'm a fan of telling other resellers where the information is and letting them decide what they want to do with that information. So again, I will post, there's a nice bifold part of information that will kind of go through all of the laws in there federally, and I encourage all of you just to be familiar with what the sites, and again, I think Etsy and eBay both restrict and don't allow you knowingly to sell ivory on the site. So I just wanted to let you guys know it is possible to buy ivory items in a jewelry bag jar lot. If you buy something and you don't realize that that's in there, you don't realize that it's real ivory and what you're buying, it's still illegal. So you could say you don't know, but if you buy a jewelry jar and it's got cocaine in it and you get stopped by the cops, the argument that you didn't know it was in there is probably not going to fly with the cops. You're still most likely going to get in trouble. So keep that in mind. Do without information as you will. Again, I'm not going to say anything to anyone else who's doing what they're doing. You do you. This is not advice. This is not shaming anyone else as to what they have, what they collect, what they sell, what they don't sell, what they give away. That is your business. Please don't go ahead and say anything in this video or in their video if you don't agree with something that's being said. So this is not a shaming video. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions or answers to anything that we go over, please mark it in the comments down below. And please, again, no hate, no attacking. If you do leave any rude or unconstructive criticism comments down below, I will just delete them and probably block you. So just know that I don't have to. I do YouTube for fun and as a hobby on the side, so I don't really need to deal with people being rude to me. So that's not something that I will tolerate. So, okay, bye. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to start out with was this. This is a beautiful vintage old, this is pretty heavy, purse, and you can see the lines here in this. So you might think that this right here is ivory, if you didn't know any better. However, this is actually celluloid. So there is a process that they made running electricity through this to make those lines, and it does yellow like real ivory tends to do, and it is colored in a way that vintage ivory was as well. But these beautiful bags, totally okay to buy and sell. They are celluloid. The buttons are just, or the beads are just so beautiful in this. So if you see something like this, that is often going to be celluloid. It is usually more uniform here. It sounds more plastic. And bugs. A lot of times you will find out in your research what something might be. Again, the weight, the feel, if it's cold. So this one is completely like room temperature or warm to the touch. That one is celluloid. A lot of times you're gonna see cross hatching. That's something that I'm sure you guys have heard before. I honestly did not realize how much celluloid could look like real ivory until I got these. So these are beautiful celluloid brooches. They're older. This one is marked Japan. This one is probably also in Japan. This one has an older C-clasp in it. It's really beautiful, older model. The weight is very different from this. Now this is ivory. It has a trombone clasp. Ivory is very smooth. The carving on ivory is always much smoother than carving on bone. And celluloid was never carved. Celluloid is molded. So you'll never see carved lines on celluloid because they're molded, so they're pressed in a mold. They're very lightweight, very fun, kitschy items. I love vintage celluloid brooches, but they're not real ivory. Again, this you won't be able to see the cross hatching as well as you will on some other things, but this one is a real ivory fan brooch with the trombone clasp. It's very beautiful. So the other two you would be able to sell, this one you would not. So one of the things that I'm going to show you that is real ivory is this bracelet. So this one should be pretty easy to see actually. The cross hatching here, and you can kind of see it all throughout. This brooch. I mean, bracelet. Jeez Louise. But it has a very beautiful carved brooch. Ivory is carved. Again, you can see the cross hatching. This is pretty heavy. It is colder. Room temperature, if you put it to your face, it's going to be colder than the celluloid. Yeah, not much. It's not like jade is really cold, but it will be. Let's see. So this is also ivory. You can see that here, the cross hatching in the beads. This has what's called Scrimshaw on it, which it's the markings. The markings with the ink in it. It's also got carving in it as well. But again, it's pretty easy to see the cross hatching lines on these. So the Scrimshaw is pretty often indicative of ivory, be it elephant, walrus, mammoth, woolly mammoth, whatever. It is oftentimes indicative of ivory. And also, like, you look, you can see the color difference in vintage older ivory and celluloid. This one also, it's pretty easy to see up here, the cross hatching. Ivory doesn't have it's like your nails, so there's no blood that's going through it. So it's the way that ivory is grown has those cross hatchings. And again, this one's Scrimshaw, very beautiful. Let's see, I do have some more Scrimshaw as well. This is an older bracelet. It says silver. I don't remember. I don't think I could make out that other word. But it's a very old bracelet. And this is also ivory. So again, I wouldn't be able to really sell that one on Etsy or eBay, I believe. So something I think for me that is hard to tell sometimes if it is ivory or not has to do with roses. So a lot of things are made with carved roses. I have a lot of examples here. And also, so this one is, I don't know if it's celluloid. I think it is celluloid or lucite. Really pretty necklace here. So most often you're not going to see bone or ivory on these, but a lot of these older vintage items do have ivory roses. I think even some of the Sarah Coventry items, like for the Lady Coventry line, had ivory carved roses, and they can be really difficult to spot because it's really hard to see because of the carving, any cross hatching. So like this one, you can see in the back here the Haversian system, and there's kind of some black pitting. You will not see these marks in ivory. And also you can kind of see the carving is not as nice as, say, this. So I'm rather certain this one is ivory and this one is bone. If I took a magnifying glass and kind of looked at some of this black, the back, I'm sure I would see some black dots indicating that blood went through here, because blood goes through bone on this. So this one, from what I'm aware of at the moment, is totally fine to sell as well. This one, and again, the age will often somewhat be indicated here too, because a lot of older brooches, they have the brooch inset into the material. And this one was the color, the feel. I'm trying to see, like here. Again, I don't see anything where indicating that blood went through it. And I'm pretty certain, but again, sometimes it's hard without seeing that cross hatching, which I do believe might indicate elephant ivory is the cross hatching, and some of the other ones don't necessarily have that. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure this one is ivory. Personally, if I'm not sure, I'm gonna err on the side of caution and not list and not sell it. Just keep it in my personal collection. Again, you do whatever you feel is right. I am not going to tell you one way or the other. This one I am also pretty sure is ivory back here. A lot of these roses are ivory. Even set in a base metal, it was really popular back in the 50s to put it on there. Some of them, if you look at the makers, like this is Crements, you'll see if they did often use ivory or not. Let's see, it's just kind of difficult. I think these are ivory. Yeah, you can kind of see the crossing inside there in the lines. Ivory does not have to be set in a precious metal. They weren't always. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. I don't even think these are silver. See, I think these ones are as well. They're older, they're in screwbacks. Now these ones I am unsure of. I don't think that these are. Pretty sure that these are bone. They're pretty jagged. But again, sometimes it can be quite hard to tell. But I don't think that this is ivory. I think this is bone. And same for this one. But again, you can see how with these roses, it can be really difficult to tell one way or the other. This one I got, and it was easy to tell because it still had the tag. I can't return, maybe I can return this still. Genuine ivory hand carved, made in Western Germany. Again, you can kind of see that cross hatching in some of these. Like here, some of these beads. And if you see the difference here in the colors somewhat too, so this is aged ivory, most likely from where they can get yellow. This is obviously one that hasn't been worn, and I'm pretty sure this is bone. So the colors do look different as well. So, and again, ivory celluloid with it as well. I'm pretty sure most of these ones are bone. The carving is not nice. It's kind of jagged, and you can see the back here, the kind of pitting. Even though this is obviously also an older brooch, it's got a C-clasp, and it's also in the material, but this one is bone. Now this one is the one that I am not certain what this is. This is, I believe, Art Deco. I think this is coral, a carved coral. But these faces, I think they could be ivory. I think they are, but I don't see any cross-hatching. They could be a different type of ivory that's not from elephant tusks. But this is one of the weirdest necklaces I have ever found. I think it's really interesting with these faces. They're all smiling. There's faces up here as well. And so you can tell by the clasp, it's really pretty old. Beautiful necklace, Art Deco period. I don't know for sure. I would think, just because of the age of the piece, that it probably is ivory. I personally would not sell it because I don't know for sure, and I err on the side of caution. These, I think, are ivory, but I'm not 100% sure. Mostly because of in here too. They're very beautiful bangles. I think this one is as well. There's no cross hatching on this one. Really difficult to tell on here. So I just am not sure on this one. I think these two are, but I am not 100% positive. This one definitely is. You can see that cross hatching. It's I think brass. And this one set with the 14 karat gold. I have a lot like this. So I have a necklace. Again, these are definitely ones that I inherited from my grandmother. A necklace here, and I actually have a few different types of the earrings. So I never quite knew. There is some jewelry that is made to look like these earrings, and I always thought, what a weird pattern. Why would anyone make those like plastic white earrings like this, or necklaces like this? Because I've also seen plastic necklaces like that as well. So now I know why. Because they're faux ivory. Lucite. It's got a YSL tag on it. But it is another faux version of ivory. Which I found this one quite interesting. There's also this one. This is Les Bernard. And there's no cross hatching, it's just the one. They're parallel and they're pretty perfect. If you notice in some of the other beads, they're not perfect lines like that. They kind of grow and go whichever way they want to. Same thing as this, you know. They're just perfectly kind of parallel with each other. So again, these both totally legal to sell. You don't know for sure. Err on the side of caution. Scrimshaw is made in other, and again, I think this one, pretty sure this is also ivory. It's easier to look on the sides if you're not sure. That's why the roses can be difficult, because you can't really see it on the sides, but it is a stick pin. So they're made in two different things. I will just show this for the last one. This one is very beautiful. Dragons. And you can see it here, the lines in there. They are carved. This bead right here is carved. And you can see it especially in this bead right here. So this one again is real ivory. Carved. So hopefully you guys got a little bit of an idea on what to look for. Again, I find it most helpful to kind of, I find it most helpful to look at examples. Again, this one was easy. I knew when I got it that this one, Trigger lines, that's what I was thinking of. The Haversian system is blood. Trigger lines, no blood. So that's what this is, the sugar lines. So this one is, this one and this one are Lucite. And I find it interesting to see all the different ways that ivory has been mimicked. So it's been mimicked with Lucite. It has been mimicked with bone, right here and here. And this one, and definitely this guy as well. So it has been mimicked with bone. it has been mimicked with celluloid. And also with other plastics. I don't know what this one is. I don't know what this one is, but. And then again, you might come across things that you are not certain about. And I would do some research based on the history of the piece. It's this one, and this one too, it's hard to see the cross hatching. But based on age, based on what was available at the time that the piece is most likely back from, you can kind of see what they would have had available and kind of make an educated guess. And if you're not sure, personally, I would err on the side of caution and just keep it in my personal collection. But that's me. That's what I would recommend. If you guys have any questions, any comments on anything that you've seen, please post them down below. I am happy to be learning with you guys again. I hope to get back to more educational videos again, because they are kind of what I like to do the best. But I tried to do a lot of research like I did here, and kind of show you different examples of things to help. But other than that, I think I might have ants in my pants, so I am going to sign off for now, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Is that it? Is that all I wanted to say? Oh.